Oh, hey there, Tiberius. Yeah, the tunes are... I'm not sure, so I'm just using the like auto DJ thing from Nightbot, and it's pretty good. I'm not sure if I have some sort of like, settings on. Oh, there's a playlist. Yeah. I have no clue where the music's coming from. I mean, it's from SoundCloud, but what kind of music it is, I have no clue. Okay. First step, we gotta expand the room a little bit. Where is my dig room? There's a dig room, and it requires dig utilities, and it requires the regular utilities. And we add that into Odin, so that we can have him. Crap, I should have checked how big this was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 11. Okay. So 11 dig room, 11 by 11 by 3. Let's make it a little bit taller. And let's place a feral flare lantern over here so we can have some light in here. And let's patch this hole a bit. It's a nice little blue room we got here. Okay. So, my plans for making a 3D printer right now is as follows. First step, take a super simple sample JSON, which I've made here, and have it print the first layer, which is just these parts are the first layer. And once we've got that up and running, we'll make a bigger layer, so like 7 by 7 or something, because right now it's a 3 by 3. And then once that is confirmed to be working, I'm gonna add multiple layers. And once that is done, I'll start working on an interface to actually build this stuff. So, my plan is to have a super basic interface at first, just a grid like I have with the inventory display on the socket server turtle program, that you can just click in and then you can switch layers. You can just build it layer by layer. That's my original plan, at least, because that should be simple to do. Yeah, that's my plan. So I'm gonna just start with making the script part where we can just print things. So I've made a super simple JSON test file here, so I can load in the JSON file, because I imported someone made a JSON converter library for Lua, so I'm just importing that. And I'm gonna just read in this JSON and then loop through each line. So this is a line, this is a row, row, and then each of these would be their own layers afterwards. So we'd have the first layer would be like this, and the second layer would be like this or something. And that should give us a shape that is like this. So 1, 2, 3, and then second layer would be like this. If I used this JSON, is my plan. So, first step is get a computer up and running so that it can print this, as described here in this JSON. And I've already confirmed that it actually can load it in, so all I have to do is just print it. And yeah, okay. Which, oh right, I made a special turtle for this, Hephaestus. And Hephaestus, does he have fuel? He has no fuel, okay. This is what we made the wood for. Ooh, there we go, nice. Lag F. Okay, refuel all, that should be enough for a while. And then Iris doesn't need any. Let's just put this over here. And let's make it build out of sandstone or something. Sandstone is cool. Do I have more sand over here? Yes, I do. Cool. Let's smelt some more glass. Okay. Yeah. Hopefully it's entertaining to listen to. Is this the one with the JSON test? Yes, it is. Okay, nice. So, step 1 of the JSON test. Function print line. So I'd say it takes a line object, and this is not how code looks in Lua, is it? I think it's just this actually. Print line, it takes a line, and then for, let's do our first bit of Googling. How to get number of entries. Okay. Do some copy pasting. As always, so we don't want n, we want I, and then wait, what? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, okay. So n should be value, right? We can do this. Print n. So what is n? And then we do print line, and then we send object 1. So the first line in the object, let's print that and see what happens. JSON test. Bad argument. Table expected got nil. Yeah, of course. Copy paste error. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's the key value. So if we do, instead of doing n, we do line n. So we get the value at that position instead. We should get 0, 1, 0. Nice. And these are all, so this is each time. We get each object thing. Okay. So for each block in the line, we want to print the block and move forward. So let's just do this. Turtle dot place down, and turtle dot forward. And then after each line we do turtle dot back. Okay. So it places down, it moves forward. Is this correct? We'll see. So we can just do a super simple program to just print everything at the same time, and we can just see what goes wrong and then try and fix it from there. So print line, let's go print layer. And instead of a line, it takes a layer. And then instead of line, it says layer. Okay. Layer. So instead of doing place down, we want it to do print line, and then we say layer, and then we send in the n value. And since this is an index, we should replace this with an I instead. And same for up here. And same for here, 2i. And I'm not using it, right? So we can switch it to an underscore. Okay. So for each layer, we loop through each row in that layer, and we'd send that row to, or send that line to print line. And then once we've printed that line, we go turtle dot turn right, followed by turtle dot forward, and then turtle dot turn left. And then we're back to the original position, but for the new line. And then at the end, we want to say turtle dot turn left, and then turtle dot forward, and then turtle dot turn right. That should be it. And then we say turtle dot up, so it starts one layer up, and then and then say print layer, and we send in object. Okay, this is super fast how I think it should be working. That's never a good, it's very unlikely to actually work, but we can test it. So we have it here. If I'm correct, you should walk up one step, go forward, print something, go forward, do nothing, go forward, and then go 3 steps back, turn right, walk 1 forward, turn left, go 1 forward, print 1 block, go 1 forward, do nothing, go 1 forward and then back, and then repeat this for the lines. Okay, it did not. First error, it didn't go up. Why didn't it go up? Print line, oh, right. We have 1 line too many. So, let's try that again. JSON test. Let's add in the sandstone. Okay, it went up and it crashed. Okay, nice. Attempt to concatenate field in here. In print layers and layer.i. Okay, either way, we don't want to print anything here, I think. And let's try this again. Okay, JSON test. Okay. Oh, of course. So, that was a super obvious issue. It went up and it just printed at every single point because I didn't tell it to only print if it should print. So place down should only happen if, can I have an if statement? Nice condition. So if line I equals 1. So if it has a value that is 1, then and only then should we place down. And there we go. And then let's try that again. Same thing. JSON test. Go. Middle. Back. Turn right. Go in. Print middle. Go forward. Go back. Print. 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 Go forward. Go back. And then reset at the final position. Oh! It is so good. So, I'd say that's a success. Make a script that takes a sample JSON, simple sample JSON, 3x3, and prints the first layer. Done. So, let's see, can we make this bigger then? If we just do this and we just say 1, 1, 1. Okay, so this is 6, let's go 7x7. And then just fill it in for now. So it's easier to copy paste. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. And then let's see, what do we want to print? Let's see if we can print, I don't know. Let's see if we can print a spiral. That's always fun, right? So if my logic is correct, if I do something like this, and I tell it to print, it should print a nice little 7x7 spiral pattern. Okay, let's see. And this is 11x11, so 9x9, 7x7. There we go. This should be the correct position, and then say test, JSON test. No code change, the only change is in the pattern itself. Okay, nice. It did a 7x7 line, or 7x1 line, and so far the pattern is holding. So far it looks good. If we compare it to the JSON file, it looks very similar, I'd say. So it should be an almost empty line here, and then the next line should be completely filled in, and then it should stop. Okay. So one thing that we're doing right now that is a little bit unnecessary, but surprisingly hard to get rid of, is that we always take one extra step in things. And that's because we have the movement inside of the loop, and we loop the full size of the list. So if we want to stop it from that, then we have to loop one set less than the list, and then do the last step manually, where we just remove the last movement step. But this spiral looks exactly as the pattern, which is absolutely mind-boggling that it's been going so well so far. Okay, let's move things down to a little bit smaller scale so it's easier to reset after each print. And I could probably make a tool for this. Yeah. Okay, so 11 by 11, 9 by 9, 7 by 7, 5 by 5. That should be enough, right? And then we go over here and we remove 7, 6, and then we go over here and we say this is 5, right? I think that's 5. One, two, three, 2. Yeah, that's 5. So we have a super simple example. What can we do in a 5 by 5? Let's make a circle with a dot in it, right? Oh wait, we can't. That's a 3. Is it? No. Yeah, we can make a circle with a dot in it. There we go, and then there we go. That should be full circle around, full circle of nothing, and then a block in the center. Okay. And then we wanted to make this, because now we're on step 2, right? Or step 3, because okay, we already make sure the script can handle bigger size layers. Done. Worked with it like a charm. So the next step is multi-layered. Oh, I don't want to save the to-do list. Stop it. Yeah, next step is multiple layers. So to do that, we add this into its own little array. Okay, there we go. We format it, and then we copy this layer, and we say we want a tube with a pillar in the middle. That should be easy peasy to do. So we have the main feature here, print a layer. And I think we want to move this turtle dot up into the print layer because we want to repeat the up movement, right? And then because it reset, it did the thing. Yeah. So now we want to do function print object, I guess. Generic, but it'll do for now. So for switch this, print object, and this takes an object. Let's switch this to model, right? Because it's a 3D printer. They print models, right? Print model. Print model. And we just do the exact same thing here as we did with everything else. Let's copy all of this stuff in here. I would say when we print a model, the first thing we want to do is to go turtle dot forward, because we want to start one step outside. Forward, turtle dot forward. There we go. So we take one step forward, and then for each layer in the model, we want to say print layer. And then we say model I. So we send in the model layer. And then after we've done that, we don't want to do anything because we're back in the starting position. And then once we've printed every single layer, we want to do turtle dot back so that we move one step backwards, and then turtle dot down. Nice. And this, we want to say model. For each layer in the model, we want to go one step down, and then that's it. We don't want to turn anywhere, do anything. It seems simple. 3 layers, tube with a stick in the middle. What can possibly go wrong? And then we move this one step further back. Oh, and we gotta orient it correctly. Because the first step we'll do is just take one step forward and then start printing from this position. It'll go one step up and start printing. So we put the sand back in, and then we say JSON test. Okay. Let's just look at it print. Hopefully it works. Nothing, and then bloop. And then it should be block, nothing, block, nothing, block. So far so good. I mean, so far it seems to me as if we have a fully functioning 3D printer. And it took, what, 30 minutes? Okay. Okay, final layer. Let's see. Can it do it? Oh, what? Oh, right. Odin is up here. Let's put Odin in his place. See, Odin. There you go. He's done clearing out the 3D printing room. Have his chest back. And Hephaestus. 3D printing. I mean, it is kind of cool, right? Oh, okay. It's done with its layer. Is it gonna go back, down, back, down? Oh my god, it's done. So, fully functioning 3D printer in 30 minutes. It has a bit of a weird file format. Like, the models aren't super readable, but they're super simple. And like, I already think that there are programs online for you to be able to draw and get these types of models out. So as long as you can just fetch them somewhere and put them here, then it's done and you can print whatever. The only issue here, so this is a super basic version, of course. Here, the main issue right now is that we can only print something that is 64 blocks big, because as soon as this block or this slot runs out of items, it'll just stop printing things because it doesn't understand that it doesn't have any more blocks. So that's next step. So let's go back into the to-do list. Add support for multiple layers. Done. Next step is select next slot if no more items in slot. So if we don't have anything in our printing slot, then select the next slot that is not empty. Another thing that I was thinking of is whenever we run out of items, we can have it fetch the items from an ender chest. but that's let's take that in a later step. It's not super complicated, but it's a little bit more complicated. And then I need to set up another like color of enter chests. So that is issue number 1. The other issue is it can only ever print in one color. It can't change blocks, and that is a much more complicated issue because turtles in this game are super stupid. It's very hard for them to keep track of what an item is. If I say what's in my inventory, it can get it, but the value I get is the metadata value that the mod makers or Minecraft themselves have given it. So I get something like Minecraft : sand : 5 or something. And that is parsable. We can go through it and just say, oh, if this is a sand block, then use sand here or whatever. And we can also dedicate like, so 4 colors, for example, 1 color here, 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 and here, and then 1 corresponding chest with the remaining colors after that, or something like that. We might do that sometime, not sure. But let's see. For now, let's just say a regular 3D printer only prints in a solid color, right? It just prints white or whatever polycarbonate plastic you have. So let's go for the same here. You put in a color and it prints that color, and then you can use that as a base or whatever and just do whatever you want. So I'm just gonna go straight through that, and I'm gonna say what did you say? We said select empty slot. Select full slot if current inventory slot is empty. Yeah. That should be a fairly simple thing to do, because what we can just do is we take, and so this is no longer JSON test, right? This is full-on 3D print.lua. It's official. This is our printing file. We make a new function called function select non-empty slot, and then we end, and then if needed. There we go. Extra verbose. So we first check if, and we can go, if we look at the web interface, main.js, we have some code down here somewhere to get the inventory. Turtle get selected slot. Get item details. There we go. That's the command I wanted. So if is that the item detail? Is that what I wanted? Or is there a better one? Because I don't need all the information. Computercraft wiki. Okay, let's look at the no. Turtle API. Computercraft Turtle API. Here we go. Invent craft. Get select slot. Get item count. There we go. That's the one I want. I don't need all the extra fluff I get from the item detail. So if I just do this and I say tilde get selected slot, I think. So if the currently selected slot has an item count Can I use less than... Oh, what happens if I have an empty? Let's test this. Turtle.get item count. There we go. 0. Okay. So I can just say if it's equal to 0, then I want to select a new slot. Or okay, I'm a little bit unsure of how I want to do this. So I have 16 slots. If I have a selected slot, that is, say, slot see, turtle.select 13. So if I say turtle.get item, can I remove this? Turtle get item count, I get 0. But I want to, the slot I want to get to right now is slot number 2, because that's where I have the sandstone. But I can't just say select the next slot, because if I have turtle slot number 16, then I can't select slot 17, right? Because that doesn't exist, so I get an error. But what I instead want is, can I do mod in here? Mod. So 16 mod 1, 2. Oh, that's 0. Wait. 2 mod 16. Is that it? There we go. Okay. So if I say select 17 mod 16, I should get slot 1. Yeah. So modulo, or modulus, which is called in Sweden, I don't know what it's called in English, is a math thing where it's the leftovers of divisions, right? So if I say 2 mod, and mod is represented by percentage sign in programming, mod 16, I'll get, if it's below 16, I'll always get the number as it is. And if it's above 16, it'll just subtract 16 and then give me whatever's left. So it'll divide it by 16, but only with integers. Yeah, it's... So if I do 2 mod 16, I get 2. And if I do 17 mod 16, I get 1. And if I do 32 mod 16, I get 0. And then if I do 33, I get 1 again. Yeah, so it never goes above 16. So if I do this instead, so I say 15, something like 17 mod 15 plus 1 should always give me a number between 1 and 16. So if I do slot 16, I get slot 2, is that correct? So if I go mod 1, oh wait, right, because I have to start on 0. Can I do 0 mod? Yes, I can. Okay, nice. So 0 mod 15, and then I go up to 15, and then I go back to 1 again. Yeah, so this should work. So then I can skip this whole if thing, because I can just say instead, and this isn't how you do anything. So while the currently selected slot, turtle get item count, turtle get selected slot. So while the currently selected slot has no items in it, do, and then we just say turtle dot select so select the currently selected slot -1, because we want to, so in Lua, all arrays start from 1, while in every single other language it starts on a 0. So you have to, so here we have to subtract the 1 from the value, so that we get from 0 to 15 rather than from 1 to 16. And then we take that mod 15 plus 1. So, if the currently selected slot is 16, so let's try this. If we take this piece of code, oh, I can't paste. I'll just type it out. So, if the currently selected slot is 16 minus 1, and we have to put parentheses around everything so that it's correct. If this mod 15 plus 1, then we should get 1, if I am correct. And we got 1, nice. So if the currently selected slot is 15, then the next slot is 16. And is this correct? 15 minus 1. So now I went from 15 to 1, but I should have gone from 15 to 0. So 15 mod. Okay, I gotta rethink this. Math has never been my strong suit. But I would think that I should have had. So if I just remove this. So if I go like this and I go, the currently selected slot is 16. So I subtract 1. And then I do mod 15. And then I get position 0, which is correct. I should get that. But okay, let's see. If do I need this? Am I just overthinking things? So 16 mod 15 is 1. But that's not 15. So if I go 1 mod 15 is 1. So I want it to be 2 here. But if it is 16, I want it to be 1. Okay, so am I thinking this correctly? 16 mod 16. Okay, I think that I am thinking correctly now. Okay, so if the currently selected slot is 1, then I want the next slot to be 2. So if I do 1 mod 16, I get 1, and then I add 1. So this gives me the expected value. 1 mod 16 plus 1. And if I have 16 mod 16, then I get 0 plus 1, which is 1, which is the expected value. So if I have 16 as my selected slot, and we do mod 16, I get 0, and then I add 1 to get the new value. 1. Okay, I'm just silly. I don't need to overthink this. So there, and then 16 plus 1. So we get the selected value, get the next slot, and then it should hopefully loop through and see that the new position isn't empty. Okay, hopefully this makes some sense. But we have to. So if the inventory is empty, then we're stuck in a permanent loop. So we have to have some sort of break condition. So we say local empty inventory slots equals 0, and then if this is empty, we say empty inventory slots plus equals empty inventory slots plus 1. So we increase the value by 1, and then we have to see that if, and we can do this. Can I do AND statements? I think so. And in while Lua. Can I? Is it just two? Wait, Lua has AND operators as the text AND. Empty inventory slots. Do we have less than operators? Less than Lua. Relational operators. Oh, that's perfect. It's almost as if it's a real language. Is less than 17. So, if this value ever reaches 17, then we've looped through the entire inventory and we just break. And then we say let's just do an extra print statement in here. Empty inventory slots less than greater than or equal to 17. So if it has to reach that threshold, then we should print no more blocks, and then end. I think that's how you do things in Lua. Okay. So before we place down, and then we can say is there a way for us to print line? I could cascade a boolean value, but it seems like such a messy way to do it. Let's just skip it. If it's empty, it's empty. No one cares. No more blocks. Oh, way. Yeah, let's keep it this way. Don't overthink things. So, before we place things down, we just check if we need to switch to a non-empty slot instead. And then we can just say turtle.select 13. There we go. So if we restart this printing program right now, it should hopefully switch to the correct state or the correct slot before printing, and then it should start working like usual. And we can just try this by spreading out the items all over the slots. So it starts here, and then we add like 5 blocks here, and then we add 2 blocks here, and then no blocks there, and then yeah, let's add the rest of the blocks there. So 3D print, go. Okay, it switched slots. Okay, it'll switch slots again. There we go. Switch slots. Can I click it? Yeah, okay. Nice. Switched slots. So, it seems to be working. Okay, we've solved one issue at least. And that is that it can now use the entire inventory to print things. So now we have what? We have 64 times 16. So we can print 1,000 blocks now at least. That should be enough to print most things, I'd hope. And we can destroy him for now, I think, because we don't need it to print all this stuff again. We just wanted to test the inventory management. Another checkmark, I think. Where is it? It's over here. Okay. So I'd say that this 3D printer is pretty much as good as it's gonna get for now. Let's see, copy this and add this into the turtle scripts folder. New file, no, paste. There we go. And then, ooh, what did I do here? 3D printer. Oh right, I added this into the 3D printer. Okay, I should move things around again then. So, because I wanted this to be its own like little stuff. So new folder, turtle scripts, and then we add 3D print. Move this into this one instead. Did it? It did not. Okay. Cut. Paste. Okay, we have our 3D printer and it requires the external libs. And let's cut this and add it in here. No one else uses the JSON stuff anyway. And then we can... Did I change this in any way? I did not. Okay. So at least we have the basic stuff to go by. So let's end this. Go into the 3D printer, CD WebSocket server. Okay, let's send this up to the cloud before our computer crashes and we lose everything. Okay, let's rename our projects. Computercraft 3D printer. Okay, apparently it needs hyphens. There we go. Okay. And we want it to be Met license. Yeah, that sounds good. And then let's just add this prefix on this package JSON. And we should be good to go, I think. Okay, add everything. Added basic 3D printing script for computercraft. Git push. Okay, nice. Everything should be pushed to the cloud now. So let's see if we can get, where did I put everything? It should be in workspace. computercraft, 3D printer, web interface, and then index.html. Okay, nice. Huh. Did this just now pop up for you? Or have I been showing the browser this entire time? Okay, either way, it shows up now. So we can go in here and we can close this, close this, close this, close that, and we can show this stuff actually. There we go. Simple, and then main.js. And then we can see, and this is the remote control, so it's the wrong package. WebSocket server, 3D printer. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to work on the web interface to generate a JSON file. And then once we have a JSON file, we can work on a WebSocket solution to send the JSON file remotely, like load it onto the computer remotely. I'm just gonna chat a bit on Discord for a few seconds. Okay, nice. Oh, I made some garlic bread because I bought some. Delicious, delicious garlic bread. Okay, so let's go back here and let's say, instead of terminate, we say print. And instead of terminate turtle, we say print model. And selectable turtles can get, oh wait, this can be, we can reuse this. Layers. And then we can say spam layers. And then instead of inventory wrapper, we can say layer. Is that enough with just layer? Let's go for it. Let's reload this. Yeah, that looks like garbage. But we can fix that later. Layer wrapper is what I switched to. So let's go into main.js wrapper. Inventory wrapper. Boom. So. For all of this stuff. So we don't give a flying shit about if it's selected or not. So we just wanna build the inventory and append the children. Did I do that wrong? Generate inventory. Oh, it's on message. Screw that. Yeah, we don't need any of this stuff. We don't really need any of this stuff either. We don't want key listeners, I think. So let's just see. Can we generate an inventory, please? No? Why not? Add event listener of null. WebSocket failed. Okay, so you can't see this. Can you see it if I do this? Perhaps? Yes, there we go. We are getting error messages because we're trying to connect to a server that isn't up and running. So, where do I connect to the server? There we go. And then we just say everything that has to do with sockets can fuck off for now. And then we reload. Okay, add event listener to null. Terminate turtle should be print model. And then we say console log sending to turtle. Selectable turtles is now layers. And then when they change, we update things. And then we say, instead of this stuff, we just do console.log layer changed. Okay. Cannot read name of undefined. Line 40. And this is generate inventory. And that is because we don't want it to say any of these things. The title should be just layer something, I don't know, block, sure, perfect. The value should not be anything, and selected class, selected inventory slot is where do we get selected inventory slots? Oh, it's up here. Selected inventory slots can also fuck off, and selected class is not true. It's just an empty string. And then we can remove this stuff because we don't need it anymore. And then we don't have any inventories, so we don't use that. Inventory slot should be renamed into block. Sure, why not? Pen child block inventory wrapper. So we clear it before we generate it, and then this should work, right? Okay, selected class is not a thing. Yeah, of course it's not a thing. Okay. Now we're not getting any errors at least. Are we getting anything else? If I have my body, then I have my layer wrapper. It has a bunch of stuff. Okay, right. So we changed the ID. Oh, I'm gonna see if I can. There we go. So we changed the ID of things, which means that inventory wrapper, which is used to define all the style rules, no longer exists. So we need to do that. And boom, we have an inventory. We are not getting a proper margin bottom though. Or is it a padding bottom? And this is because of... Is it too small? Span. The div has the correct margins. So does this. This thing doesn't have a proper padding. Okay, so let's just do this, because why not? I'm a bit... where are these divs? We want this one. Padding 10. Padding bottom 20. Because why not? Does that change how it looks? Okay, so now it looks good. And let's see, can I do this? This is locked. Minecraft is locked. Is everything locked? Nice. Okay, the browser is unlocked. Okay. That way we can see everything. Red boxes, bad. Red text is bad. Error messages, no bueno. But now we can see here. So what I want to do here is I want to automatically be able to add can you see my cursor? Barely, it's super small, but these, I have a 4x4 grid here. I want to be able to expand this grid to the right and to the bottom. Basically as much as I want. And I think I need to make these a little bit smaller to get this to work properly. But if I can inspect this and say remove this, so now it is width, can I say I might have to auto-generate the width and the height of this thing. But let's see, our smaller things are 80 by 80. So if we just half the size of this, 40 by 40, and then 200 by 200. Does that work, or did I miss paddings? Yes, I did. Okay, so the margin should be 5 pixels. Okay. Now it's super small, but it is also more manageable to draw in. So we don't have any layers for now. We want to start by having like a layer. So let's go up here, and instead of inventory we say model, and the model starts as an array, and selected turtle should be selected layer, and add all layers to drop down, and then we see we don't need to access this, and then we just say the drop down selectable layers, or is this just layers? I think this is just layers. Layers drop down. Is this like screen layout okay? Where I have the code and everything, and I can do that, I believe, to make it a little bit more viewable. where I can show Minecraft, the browser, and the code at the same time. So layers drop down, and then turtles.length should instead be model dot length. Yeah, because the length of this array is how many layers we have. And then all I want these things to be is just... Oh. Also let me know if the vacuuming in the background is too loud. So we add the option and we just say the layer whatever, and we can actually say layer, and then we concatenate those so it's together. There we go. And yeah, this should be enough for now. We should probably get an error message or something. No? Okay, nice. Add layers, and turtles received can be removed because we don't deal with turtles in this one. Generate inventory is what we want to handle next. No, not next, but inventory generate display layer is what we want to call this, and then we say layer wrapper. And then we have, and then we don't want 17, we want let model width equals, let's say, what's the default width? 7, sure. Let model height, no, model depth equals 7. So we have a 7 by 7. And then so here comes the issue then. Okay, we just create the boxes. Index, while the index is less than model width times model depth. So that's how many boxes we want to generate. 7 by 7. Generate inventory is not defined. Oh, right. Generate display layer is what we want here. Okay, nice. So this is the amount we want. And then we want display layer. We want the layer wrapper. Layer wrapper dot style dot width to equal so what is the size of this? One box is 40 pixels, so 40 plus 10, so 50 times whatever, right? Plus 50 times model width, I think, plus pixels. Okay, is that something I can do? That is correct. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 7. Okay, that's super easy then. So we get the correct width, and then we just want to do the exact same thing for the height. So height equals 50 times model depth. There we go. Nice. And then Oh, and then we want to do a model depth plus, is it 10 pixels? I think it's 10 pixels we want as a padding bottom. Nope, it is not. It is 20 pixels. But we don't want 20, we want 10 pixels. Is it? It's 15 actually. Oh, it's 10. I'm blind. 10, and then we want the padding top to be 10. That is not the correct one. I want the margin top. Am I silly? This thing has a padding of 10 pixels. Where is that? There it is. That should be 5 pixels instead. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then, because I did that, we need to change this. So, const padding. No, wait, box size equals 45, I think. Let's go with that. Okay, so then let's go for 40. Is that correct? No, it's not. So 45, what do we get? 1, 2, 3. Oh wait, that's 50. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So why is that the case? So if we change this to 50, it is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Oh, okay. Because we're not generating a 7 by 7, are we? While index is 0. There we go. Because we're not using Lua anymore, so we have to start from index 0. Okay, so we have our 7 by 7 grid. We have the correct width, height, and padding for everything, I think. I could be wrong. What we want next is for each of these to be selectable. We can remove request inventory update and request selected slot, because those are also not related to this. Layers, and then change. And we can say document ready on load. Generate layer. That's what we want to do. Function generate layer. So we want to set up a default layer as our first thing. And can I generate autofill array JavaScript maybe? Fills the specified elements in the array with static value. Array.fill. Okay. So, when we generate a new thing, let's see. So this is how you would get So this is a default layer that is completely empty. It is. And this should be, the default layer is the depth. Model depth. Let's see if that is correct. So we have our model and we want to fill it with a layer. So we want to create a layer, which is what we have here actually. Default row is what this is. So we have a default layer which is empty, and we want to fill this with. Wait. Can you use? Can you fill it with a filled array? Three by three. I'm just gonna check if this works, because it does, then it's super easy. If it doesn't, then we need to make a loop. That seems to be working, if I am reading it correctly. Yeah, that is working. Amazing. So then we say a default layer is model width and model depth. Amazing. So then we have the default layer. And if I do this, I'm just going to check that this works so that we can have something that is a different size than what we had before. So we can have a 17 by 10, for example, and the grid doesn't expand perfectly. Why doesn't it expand perfectly? So if I have a 1 here, height is 50. Oh wait, we have padding bottom 20. Okay, let's see here. Okay, let's see if I remove this part so we don't have anything extra, and then this has padding 5 everywhere. Padding bottom 20. Okay, so if I increase this to 10, does it still look good? It does not. And why does it not look good? Inspect. Is it because of the margin top? It is not. Does the padding have anything to do with it? Does a bit. Okay, so this thing has a padding of 5. Oh, does it have something to do with that perhaps? Margin. Remove white space between inline block elements. Okay, let's see here. If we do this and we say white space collapsing, is that not supported? Okay, that is not a flexbox. Okay, font size 0. Size 0. Okay. Font size 0 on the layer wrapper. Size 0. There we go. That looks absolutely perfect, I think. So if we do 5, it still looks perfect, and if I do 50, it still looks perfect. Okay, nice. I hate white spaces. So we start with a default of 7 by 7. Let's go by that. And we can throw away the build message function. Also useless. And then reload this. And then we can say if we are doing a div span hover, then we want to say background color, no wait, outline, and the solid red. Let's go for that. Let's go for watermelon. Okay, and we need more than 1 pixel if we're gonna be able to see this, so let's say 5 pixels. Okay, so now it is super clear that you're trying to highlight something. Nice. And then we just need an event listener on them. And to get the event listener, we need to add it into the layer generation. Layer wrapper. So after we display the layers, we say document.getElementI. We don't need to do that actually. Block dot add event listener click. So if we click on something, then we want to function. Can I do that? Is that a thing here? It is not. Event, and then we say event.target. What is this target? So what is it I actually want to do here? We can just do this. Event target dot class list. Is that how you do it? JavaScript add class. And we need to go to Stack Overflow If you ever want to find anything on the internet regarding to programming, look at Stack Overflow if you can. And then, so class list add, and we want to say selected. And we also want to say event.target.innerHTML if innerHTML is that what we want? Screw this. No need to fix things that aren't broken yet. Okay, selected, and we want it to be, instead of this, we want it to be black. Just so that we know that it's working. Because right now we just want to test things, don't overdo things. Okay. Okay, so we selected something, and we can select it. And we want to toggle class JavaScript. I have to get it out, right? Wait. Class list has a toggle? That seems way too advanced for basic JavaScript stuff. Let's see. Click. Click. Oh my god. Nani? That is amazing. Okay, so the divs are a slightly lighter shade, and we want it to be a slightly darker shade, I think. So somewhere between B3 and 4.0. So CD. Let's go for D3 maybe. That should be a little bit darker. That way. Oh, this isn't. Wait. B. Oh, I'm silly. Let's go for 8. 8.3. 8.3. And we don't want outline. We want background color. Because we still want to be able to highlight this thing when we hover it. So we hover it, we click it. Okay, this thing has a block now. And then we want it to say, instead of title, no block. And if we select it, target.title, equals block. Does that work? Okay, no block. Block. Okay, cool. So we have some sort of thing we can interact with. We can. Oh, right, we can click. Interesting. Because the toggle worked, but this still says block, right? Yeah. So let's just switch this to add instead, so we don't get things confused. So if we click it, it is now on forever. So target dot. Okay. JavaScript. Add data. So I want to be able to use the data attribute stuff. Custom attribute. Set attribute data. If I want to get data set icon. Ooh, that is something I want to work with. So JavaScript, or HTML to be specific, has a very nice little thing here. So normally you have fixed values. So title is one of them, where it's an attribute where if you set that, it shows up as a hoverable value. So right now you can't see it, but when I hover this, I get a small info box that says no block. And if I hover this one, I get a small info set that says block. And this is the value here, so the title. But it also has a custom one, which is data icon. So let's say data value, maybe. And we say that this value is 0. So if I go in here and I say console log data value followed by the data set, so event.target.dataset.value. So hopefully I should get a 0 in the console if I click something, and that is not it. That's not it. So in the console, if I click this, it should say 0. It says 0, amazing. And if I change this value to a 1 and I click somewhere, I should get a 1. Does that work? It does. Okay, perfect. That's all I want. So if I do this and I say if the event target dataset value equals 0, and I want it to be, yeah, two works. So if it isn't selected, then I want it to be selected. And I just want to move all this stuff in here, and I say select this thing and set it to be a block. And I also want the dataset value to be switched from a 0 to a 1. And then else if the dataset value is a 1, I want it to be reset if I click it again. So I want to toggle it back and forth. So I say that this should now say no block instead, and this should be remove selected, and this should be a 0. So now if I save this, I should be able to toggle these back on and off. If I click it and then I click it again, they're toggled. So if I click this and I go in here and I inspect it, I should be able to see that this has a data value of 1, but if I go to an unselected one, it has a data value of 0. So now I can keep track of what is selected and what isn't. And it should also have when it's generated. So, okay, first off, I want to do this. It's a bad habit to have to put all your code like in the middle of stuff. So if it is a function, I can just break it out and I can say this function should be called toggle block. And it takes an event and then does all the things. So now I can move this code up here and I can take the reference to this function and I can stick it in here. So then I have the code separated so that I can easily keep track of where things are. So this function doesn't become absolutely massive and handles everything in the world. So if I just double check, I can still select and unselect things. And as you can see in the console, or in the thing down there, this switches when I click it. So it says no block, block, no block, block. And it changes data value and the class is switched as well. Perfect. You're still here? Awesome. That means I'm not talking to empty air at least. So, let's go back to this stuff. We have a simple layer, right? We have the default layer. If we go back to that, we can actually put that into the model. So model dot generate layer, and we want to say that this should return this value, and then we say build function generate default model, and then we say that model equals new array with generate layer in it. Is this correct? Yeah. So if we do a console log on the model, we should see that the default model after we generate, so generate layer should be generate default model. We should now see that we get like a default layer over here. It has 7 bits in it, and each of those 7 bits has another bits in it. Okay, nice. So we have the default model, and now we can generate. Okay. How do I want to handle this? Do I want to just generate them as they are, or do I want to print the actual model? I think I want to actually print them out. So I want to remake this whole display layer part to, instead of just running it like this, I want to run it as it is displayed here. Like draw one layer at a time, or one row at a time. Which means I want wrappers within wrappers. So let's make this first of all. For index 0, index less than model, and then select layer dot length. For each row in the selected layer, we want to draw something. And then for that we have, let's say, the select the current row equals, and then we just get this value because it's easier. Hi, there we go. So for each row, so for let lock index equals 0, the lock index is less than current row dot length. So for each block in the current row, we want to print that block, right? So in here we do this. There we go. But then we also want to do create element div, and this is a row, and var should never be used. It should be called let now. Let's copy paste error. So we create an element, and then we say row dot class equals row, and then row dot dataset dot row ID row id, because I think we need to have only small letters, equals index. Yeah, I think that's it. And then we want to say that layer wrapper dot append child row. So we generate an row block, and then we add that row into the wrapper, and then we add the new blocks. Instead of adding them to the layer wrapper, we add them to the row instead. And then we add the same information here. So for when we create a block, we say that the block dataset should now have block ID, and then we say block index block block index row index. Okay, let's just say block ID for now. And then if we redo this, we say that I is not defined, and that's because it's called block index, not I. Then we try this again, and then we get I is not an index because it's called index here. There we go. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 data row ID. Row ID 0. This is a bit confusing. Do we get a crash? No. Let's see. Console log printing blocks. What does it print blocks? It does not print blocks. Current row length. Oh, length. There we go. Nice. Much better. Spelling mistakes are like the main reason nothing happens. So instead of saying layer wrapper.div, we say div dot. Does it have a class? Did we set class to anything here? Class row div. So we only want these things to actually show up. Div class, okay. And this is not how we did it. It is class list dot append dot add. So if we do like that, there we go. Now it looks the same and it works the same. But instead, we can actually see that this is the first position of the first row. And if we look at this one, we can see that this is the 6th position on the 6th row. Nice. Which means that we can, when we click something, so for example, when we click in here, we can see that the current target equals event.target, and then event.target should be switched to current target, and we have current block equals event.target, no wait, current target.parent. Is that a thing? Console log parent. We can see current block. Does this print anything when we click something? Or do we have to fetch parent or something? Parent is undefined. Okay. Get parent of element JavaScript. Parent element property. Okay, nice. Parent element. I'll take it. So if we print this instead, do we get an actual element? We do, and we can see that this is the third block that I clicked on. Block ID 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Nice. And then const current row equals current block dot parent element. So const current row number equals current row dot dataset dot row ID, and current block number is current block dot. So if we say current position equals row, comma, current row number followed by block, current block number. So hopefully now, yeah, the Google copy pasta is very big part of programming. So I've been working with JavaScript, like actively working for money with JavaScript for about 5 years, maybe 6 if you count the work I did during my studies. And I still have to look up how to make a loop, or how to get the parent of an element, or how to change a class, because I don't need to know that stuff. I need to know that they exist, that it is something that I can do, and then when I need it, I just figure it out, or I just Google how to do stuff. So that's the big part of being a good programmer, is knowing what are the limits, what can I do and what can't I do. But if I've understood things correctly, if I click on something right now, I should get the exact position of it. So if I click on this one, I should get that the row is 0 and the block is 1. So let's try that. Row 0, block 1. Row 0, block undefined. Okay, never frickin' mind then. Because it's not row ID, it's block ID. Block ID, copy pasta. Okay. 0, 1. I'm glad you're entertained. But this means that we have now officially found the position of the block in the layer that we've selected. Which means that when we sit here, we can just say model, and we just say current selected layer. Where is it? No, selected layer. And then we have the row number, so current row number. And then we have the current block number, and then we say that that is a number 1. And if we're down here, then we unselect it, right? So it is now a 0. So let's just say print should now generate the JSON file. So generate default model. Where is our print thing? Here, print model. Sending to turtle. And here we want to say console.log JSON.stringify, and we say model. So hopefully, if I've done everything correctly now, if I reload this page and I draw something, let's say an eye here, and I say print, I now get a can I copy this? Jesus Christ. There we go. I now get a JSON string, which I can go in here, and I can say, let's duplicate this. Can I do that? Okay, let's say new file from web.json, and then we just do this. And we save this, and then we go in here. We go in here, 3D print, and we say, instead of doing this one, we say from web.json. Okay? Let's see. Can we print the thing that we got from our web browser? 3D print. Okay. Does it work? It certainly doesn't look like it. Okay. Oh, okay. I see an issue. The JSON, it's printing the JSON that we gave it. The JSON got generated incredibly wrong, but it did something at least. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it should be printing a 7 by 7. But why is it printing this way? Row 4, block 4. This is super strange. But it's done, at least. Okay, so it printed exactly what we gave him. Will it cut them out after or not? What does that mean? Okay, that is incredibly incorrect. So what the frick just happened? Oh, no. Yeah, so the plan here is that for every light gray square, it does nothing. And for every dark gray square, it prints a block. And then we can stack these layers on top of each other. And then, if I'm not too lazy, I'll have a preview. So I'll just click here and I'll get a 3D rendering of the actual model before I print it. So I can see, oh, this is exactly what I wanted, or no, I need to configure things more. So I'll add in Babylon afterwards, is my plan, and I'll just print cubes. But why did I get this the way that I did? So whenever we click something, toggle block, I want to print console.log model. So after we click something, I want to see what the model is actually telling me that it has. So according to this, yeah, that is just not right, is it? Oh, okay, I know exactly what the issue is, I think. Let's see, here. This is the issue, I think. fill array. Yeah. So the way that JavaScript works, and the way that most programming languages work, is that when you tell the computer to create an array, which I'm doing here, which is this, it's a list of numbers, or list of values rather. It says that, okay, we generate a new array and we put it somewhere in the memory. And then what I send back to whoever wanted this is just, here's a reference to where this array is. So if the array, so if we have it over here, this is our stack of memories. So over here I say generate array, and then something generates the array at this position. So 3, 2, 1. So the array is now over here. And what I get back is the value 6, which is the position where this array is. So if I ever want to access this, I just say get me the array that is on the position 6 in the memory. So what's happening here is I'm telling it to generate an array, and then I'm sending in the generated array, or like generate an array with this value, and the value I'm sending in is the array that I've already generated. So I keep sending in the same array over and over and over again, which is causing an issue, because when I edit the first array, all of them get edited. So if I, let's say if I do this one, it'll fill up so that this entire row will be 2s now. So if I click here, and I click here, or it'll be 1s. So now we can see the 1, 1 over here, because they're all the same array. There's no difference between them. So what I need to do is I need to say, generate a new array for every time. And I can, let's see here, where is this? Is it? So, okay, let's just say for, can I get a 4 please? For loop. I love macros, they're my favorite. Generate layer. So we say const layer equals a new array, and then we say for each index in whatever, say layer dot add. Is it dot add or append? That's probably add. Add a new array that is filled with zeros, and then we say this should return the layer, and then we say the array that it should loop through is not an array, it should be model depth. So now wait, model width. There we go, model width, return layer. So if we do this again, it is not okay. Is it append? So this is the issue. JavaScript add to array. Push, of course, everyone has their own word for it. So instead of saying add, say push. And now everything works. So if I click here now, it should only be selected in the correct spot, hopefully. There we go. So instead of generating one array and filling the layer with that same array, I'm now generating a new array for every row in the layer. So let's try this again. So let's make a large I this time. There we go. And then we say print, and it gives us the JSON, and we copy that JSON and we add it in this one, and then we make it look pretty so that we can see what's happening. And now we can see that the actual, like the values are correct. This looks properly. So let's go back here and we say, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 7 by 7. Perfect. Oh, wait. 11, 9, 7. Wait, 11, 9, 7. Is this correct? Yeah, hopefully it's correct. Okay, 3D print this time. Oh, right, yeah, okay. It's one block too far in. But hopefully we can see that it places a block right here now. Boom. 3D printer complete. Heyo. Now we just need to add support for layers, which should be super easy. And then it's basically just the whole automatically sending it to the computer. That's a bit of hassle. Cool. It is also worth mentioning that right now it is not printed the correct way. So the turtle is, this is the starting position of the turtle right here, which might be a little bit misleading, but that's good enough for now, I think. So it took us 30 minutes to create the actual 3D printer, and then it took us 1.5 hours to get it to a point where we can click some buttons and get a JSON file. But it looks decent, at least. Okay, nice. But I'm gonna take a dinner break at least, and maybe I'll be back later. If not, I'll pause this project for my next stream. This has been super fun though. Oh, I haven't been this excited about programming in years. Right, but thank you for tuning in, Tiberius. Hopefully it was fun to watch/listen to, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!